Okay, clearly you have this document in the embedding Sage in LaTeX with SageTex for TeXShop users. It was last updated on December 24th, 2021. Um, for many students, they're here for the tutorial, and that's fine if that's what you're there for the tutorial. And if you want to go to the tutorial, you can. If you're familiar with Sage, though, and with TeXShop, and you just want to get Sage and TeXShop working together, I would suggest you just skip to this section over here, section 3. Let me click on that, and I'll go through it with you. All right, it's a video. Now again, you don't have to watch the whole video. I'll get to a point in the video where you could stop the video and follow the written instructions instead. All right, but let me just read this to you. The default install of TeXShop does not interact with Sage, so you need to do some preliminary steps before moving forward. Once you complete this section, you will not have to do this again. It's a one-shot deal, and you should be able to move forward in using SageTex in your TeXShop documents. It is almost impossible to keep this section updated. It is a given that this section is outdated. And my walkthrough video, yada, 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 covering what needs to be done is certainly outdated too. Richard Koch, he's the father of TeXShop, by the way, has kindly developed a guide that gets updated when things change. And since he's the father of TeXShop, I think this is the very best place to go if you need assistance in getting started. His guide is included in the standard install of TeXShop and can be found in, I'm going to point this out to you. It's over here. This is where you want to go. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Finder. So I'm going to the Finder. And within the Finder, I'm going to use the Go menu. And I'm going to go to that folder. Now it's tilde / library TeXShop / engines, / inactive Sage. Again, repeat this. You're going to the Finder. You're selecting from the Go menu. Go to Folder, which I just did. And what I'm going to do is hit the Return button now. And it brings me there. Now, this has been updated October 7th, 2021. All right, now if you're reading this document and it's December, right? It's December now 24th. This has not been updated to my knowledge. Now, granted, next year it could be updated. If it is updated, when you install TeXShop, this file would be updated. But you would double-click this file. And this file here is a complete instruction. Generally very current. They do a great job in maintaining TeXShop, and it's current. So you could read through that if you like. And you could stop listening to it right now and just do that. Right? For those students that want to hang around, though, and listen to me walk you through this, I'm going to do that. All right? So let's go through that. That's the first thing. Now, get the document. The name of that file is aboutsage.tech. Let me just review that with you. You're going to go to Finder. You're going to select the Go menu. Right? That's Go. You're going to go to the folder. And the folder you're going to do is the tilde, which means your home directory, library, TeXShop, engines, inactive Sage. And when you go there, the file you want is aboutsage.pdf. Double-click on that, and you'll get the latest instruction on how to install SageTex. All right, it's a really great place to start. All right. Now, I'm going to point out that that's sufficient for most students. They get there, they read that, they get through it, no problem at all. But I want to encourage you, those, you read through it, you might say, I still need help getting through it, and that's fine. And I'll give you a brief overview of what they're asking you to do. Basically, what I did was I did a copy-paste of that document. I formatted a little differently than he did, but the bottom line, it's Koch's work. All right. So hopefully you've done this already. You've gotten Sage. All right, now what I mean by that, if I went to the terminal, I'd have Sage running. Now the version of Sage I'm running is version 9.4. All right, now it could be updated from them, but what I mean by Sage, you have Sage and you're able to work with Sage. If not, you got to do that. You got to get Sage working. All right, now and have the latest version of it. All right, have the latest version of Sage. The next thing you got to do is you got to get back to that folder, and let me do that for you. I'm going to go to the Finder again. I'm just giving you an overview of his instruction. Get Sage first. Whoops, I don't need to do that. Go to Finder again, right? Sorry about that. And what I'm going to do is close this window out. And I'm going to, basically to that library. So I'm going to go to the Go menu again. Go to Folder. And this folder I'm going to go to is Engines. All right. Now, within Engines, you see this inactive thing. Right? There's a lot of inactive stuff in the engines. So this stuff over here, I wouldn't worry so much about what's here. In most people's computer, the inactive one is what you're looking for. So Engines, inactive, double click on it. And what I want to do is I want to find the thing that says Sage on it now. This is Sage. And what am I looking at, Sage? I'm looking for, a file in there that they're asking me to find. Now it's not in here because I've already moved the file. Let me point out what file you're looking for. You're looking for a file called SageTex. And what I did was I moved the file from here, right? I moved the file from here to the active. I'm going to show you where that is now. And let me just say Sage Engine right there. All right, go back over that. Inactive, Sage. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Let me just repeat that. Yeah, I've already moved the file Sage Engine. So we moved Sage Engine. All right. Sorry about that. We moved it in already. Already moved it in. All right. So that's been moved in. And then the other thing to talk about is, there's another tricky step, so to speak of. And that tricky step is, and I want to go through this with you, is, they want to start copying things. Right? That can be very confusing. All right, so what I want to tell you what they're going to be copying here. Let's go back to Sage. I'm just double clicking here. And you're going to be copying this folder. All right? Which is Sage and LaTeX MK. How do you copy? File. Edit, copy. All right? Now, you have to place that somewhere, right? So, again, this gets a little bit confusing. Let me go to the Go menu. I'm going to the library. And on most people's computer, they're not going to have the folder that we want. So I'm going to the library. And you're going to look for a folder that says TeX, TeX, MF. Most people don't have that. So what you have to do, File, New Folder, and then you would type in TeX, MF. Now I can't do that because my folder's already there. So I'm going to cancel that. And let me just see if I can do that. And I'm going to delete that folder now. All right, but you may have to create a folder. And the folder you're going to be creating is TeX, TeX, MF in the library. And this is in your library, not the system library. There's a difference between the two. Double click on this, it would open up. And you may have to create another folder called TeX within the folder TeX MF. All right, TeX. But I can't do it. I've already got one there, right? So I'm just going to delete it now. Move to trash. You get the idea, right? And then within this TeX folder, you're going to create another folder called LaTeX. And within that LaTeX folder, you're going to paste in that file we just copied before, which is the Sage and LaTeX MK folder. All right, let's keep moving on. All right, so now the thing is you're going to go to the terminal. I'm not going to type these commands in, but I want to go to the terminal. I'm going to exit out of my Sage instance here. Not that I have to, I just want to give up some screen space here. And in the terminal, you're in your home directory. If you're not sure about it, just type cd. You're going to now do cd, whoops, sorry about that, /applications. And then cd. Now, if you'd like, you can copy this. And just paste this into the terminal. Right, so you're gonna type this into the terminal. On point, I've already done that for you. All right, and then what are you going to do? You're going to do the other commands, and there's going to be, let's see, this command here you're going to type in there, and this command in here you're going to type in there. All right, then after you're done with that, you're going to type this thing in. Yep, that's a period. Type it in the command window. All right. All right, let's keep going. The period at the end of this command is, right, the result will be a finder window containing SageTex folder. Drop and drag this SageTex folder to the location. All right. You know, maybe I should go through those. Now, I've already done it. I'm not going to go through that. But you'll get to this thing over here, you know, drag and drop the SageTex folder to the location. They want you to hold down the Option key. I always do a copy paste, by the way, but whatever you're comfortable doing, you want to do that. All right. What I want to cut to is a sample document. So what I'm going to do is go back to my Finder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the Go menu. And let's see, Library. Let's scroll back up here and make sure you know these things are written down for you. Sorry about this. We're going to go right over here, okay? And that's a good place to test, see if you've done what you were expected to have done. Okay. What I'm claiming over here, there's some files over here. You notice a lot of them just say Sage Test on it. All right, now you're not going to see all these, but you'll certainly see this one here, the SageTest.tech. Double click on that, it'll open up, and what you're going to see is an example of using Sage. I'm going to run the compiler. In other words, I'm going to typeset it. I'm actually in TeXShop now, and I got this. And what I want to do is start editing it. And you know, I'm going to, you know, type in something different to see if it's working. 3 to the 7th. Again, if you know LaTeX, this should look familiar to you. The only thing that doesn't look familiar now is the Sage command. Well, I want to type in 3 to the 7th. I'm going to run typeset again. It says, please wait a moment. I changed the code so it's computing it. All right, let's change some other code around. All right, let's type in, I don't know, 2 to the 24. And 2 to the 24. Let's do something a little more interesting. 2 to the 24 minus 1. Minus 1. And I hit typeset again. It says, running Sage, please wait a moment. Well, it just did that. And it computed the number for it. You know what? Made a mistake. I had to correct it. That's what's nice about this. I can easily correct things. You got to look to know you're correcting things, though. Well, let's look at this one over here. It's a plot. Let's see how this is working. They want to plot the function x. Well, I'm going to change this a little bit. I'm going to say x squared. I'm going to say sine, I have to correct this too. I'm going to say 10x. And that's going to be typeset. And I want to do a sage plot. And what's that going to be? X squared sine 10x. And I'm going to change the window from -1 to -1.5 to 1.5. It's running. That's not bad. Got a picture. Integrate. I'm not going to change the integram, by the way. You can certainly clearly see over the code that what's this doing now, it's integrating something, right? And it's putting an answer down there. Now, of course, there's a new page here. So let's look at let's just scroll down, see what the new page is. It's a matrix. So let's just change this, I don't know, let's do a cube. Let's see what happens there. Got the cube. Let's try something different. Let's try, not a cube, but let's try to do the inverse. And again, sometimes I can't remember the commands. It just doesn't work, it doesn't work. All right, did okay. Let me go back to that. And I'm going to, well, let's raise it to the 5th power. Sage is computing. I think you get the idea. It's pretty easy to change code. Well, got this over here. Here's another plot. We got to play around with that. It's not so bad. And, let's just take a look at this thing over here now. You know what I want to introduce, though? I want to introduce an error and show you what happens. I'm going to say inverses really should be -1. A lot of calculators it is -1, by the way. I'm going to show you what happens. Going around, waiting for this to change now. So I got this over here. You know what? I think it did compute the inverse. It's not an error. I didn't know I was going to be able to do that, actually. Let's do -2. Let's see what happens there. -1 indicated an inverse. I didn't think it was going to happen. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I guess I can't generate an error there. You know what? I can create an error. Let's do this. I thought I was going to create an error there. Maybe not. The point is I'm trying to make an error happen. An error just happened, by the way. And someone says, how do you know that? It didn't change. So here's my problem. You notice this over here now? This looks really strange. What happened is when Sage hits an error, and I'm not an expert at this, all hell breaks loose. And you don't know it, though, until you start seeing things that are not happening. And this is just not happening, all right? So I got to go back and correct my error. And let me just go back over here and put a 2 here. I'm going to press these 2 and get rid of those. And you'll see this come back to life. There it goes, all right? Again, you think the size is too big, you could change it to, I don't know, 4 inches. A lot of options you could do here. All right, let's just go over here. You read through this thing, try to make sense out of it. All right, so here's the deal. The big take-home message here. Let's go back. Let me close this out. The big take-home message here is that you have access to this document. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be watching the video. go to section 3. In section 3, you want to get to this directory on your computer, and you want to follow the directions contained within this file here. That's what you want to do. There's no need to watch the video beyond that. If you can get to that directory, follow those instructions, they're probably going to be the most current ones. That's exactly what you want to do. Thank you.